I think Vaishnavi was not there yesterday. Uh,
Yes, sir.
so I think still anyone is. I think yeah, Raju is not there today. We will wait for a few minutes. Let's see, and then we'll start. Okay, we'll just wait for 2 minutes. So meanwhile, you guys can think what you want to do. Okay, whether I should repeat the yesterday's topic. Okay, Gujarat Medium, we are going to do the same as only half of the students were able to attend the class. But I think in your case, almost everyone was there. Otherwise, what we can do is I can quickly revise. Okay, and then we can go on to today's topic. So will that be fine? So that things can be covered for Vaishnavi and anyone else. તમે લોકો કયો એમ કરીએ શું કરવું છે?
Quickly revision.
Okay. My recording will be with this Bothra classes, guys. So those who are managing that, okay, they are storing it in cloud, their cloud. So you can inquire with them. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Mm. So you all are from same school or different school? Okay. Anyways, let me quickly go through that. I had already sent the notes of that in your group. Also sent the textbook. Okay. So I'll just teach from that. See. So whatever techniques which we had covered, they were mainly. I mean, we had covered these 9 techniques. Okay, microscopy, staining, centrifugation, chromatography, electrophoresis, filtration, radio tracer, X-ray diffraction, and sterilization. Okay, it may be repetitive for some of you, but still, if but as owing to network issues, I had to take care of each and every student, so that's why I'm repeating certain things, and then we'll go on to the next part. So, as such, if you see, then we have discussed microscopy and stain. Microscopy, we have discussed electron microscopy as well as light microscopy. If I want to study protozoans or let's say amoeba or let's say unicellular organisms, then I can use microscopy. If I want to visualize and see cell organelles, for example, if I want to study nucleus inside the human cell, then electron microscopy is used. Now, usually when you view anything inside a light microscope, especially, or electron microscope, then in that case, specifically the cells which we are going to see under the microscope, they are supposed to be stained. They are supposed to be stained means they are supposed to be filled with some color. Why? Because the cells are transparent, cytoplasm is transparent. Okay, so it is pretty much colorless. So you will not get a proper idea of different structures of the cell. So that's why you need to stain them. So that's why you need to stain them. Then there is centrifugation. Then there is centrifugation. So the centrifugation is a technique which is a separation technique. You can separate cell organelles, different compounds, okay, based on its density. So yes, from yesterday I mean, I covered all the techniques starting from centrifugation. So centrifugation is carried out in an instrument which we call as centrifuge. In an instrument which we call as centrifuge. So the instrument, okay, each and every pathological laboratory will have centrifuge. કોઈ પણ pathological laboratory માં centrifuge હશે. So when we go for blood test, they usually, or I mean, each pathological lab will use centrifuge for blood testing. Okay, if you know about complete blood test or complete blood cell count, CBC, and all this test, okay, they use centrifuge. So basically centrifugation is a separation technique. Centrifugation is a separation technique. Now what we do in this instrument, okay, at specific RPM, at specific RPM, rotations, okay. So RPM stands for revolution per minute or rotation per minute. Just like the fan keeps on rotating. જેમ ફેન ફરતો હોય continuously circle માં, the same way. Okay, one circle is one rotation, second is another rotation. So you can rotate, you can provide rotations, okay, to the compounds which you want to separate, and meanwhile they will get settled as per their density. Okay, so as you know કે જેની density વધારે હશે, that will get sedimented first. Okay, so depending upon the density and mass of the compounds, the heavier one will get sedimented first, while the lighter one will get sedimented later. It's like that primary school experiment where you take a glass of water, okay, and you add different size stones in that. So the biggest stone in the size will get settled first, then the second biggest, and then the third, and then the uppermost layer. You will see the lightest particles. Okay, તો આ શું છે કે સિમ્પલ એક ગ્લાસ તમે લઈ લો પાણીનો ભરેલો અને એની અંદર તમે એડ કરી દો અલગ અલગ સાઇઝના સ્ટોન. તો સૌથી હેવી હશે સૌથી પહેલા નીચે સેટલ થશે અને સૌથી લાઇટ હશે ઉપર રહેશે. તો સેન્ટ્રીફ્યુગેશન એ જ પ્રિન્સિપલ પર કામ કરે છે. ઓકે, એમાં ખાલી તમે રોટેશન્સ આપશો, ઓકે, અમુક ટાઈમ માટે, અને વાઇલ ઇટ ઇઝ રોટેટિંગ ડેન્સિટી પ્રમાણે સેટલ થશે. So basically there will be generation of centrifugal force, which you will study in physics and all. So it's a separation technique. You rotate compounds at specific RPM for specific amount of time. Now see, the centrifugation is carried out in a specialized test tubes termed as centrifuge tubes. It is carried out in a specialized test tubes termed as centrifuge tubes. You can add different solutions inside the tube, and then you can put them in a centrifuge, Okay, so I'll just show you a centrifuge. Just wait for a while. As you see, this is a centrifuge. આમાં બી આની બી ઘણી બધી types the sizes માં આવે. Okay, but I am only limiting myself to your content and need. Okay, so as you can see over here, this is centrifuge. Okay, this is our centrifuge. These are what we call as centrifuge tubes. The tube માં તમારે જે compound separate કરવો છે એ તમારે મૂકી દેવાનું. You have to close this lid. You have to put the time. You have to give the power supply, and it will separate out the things in the centrifuge tube. Okay. So see, you put the solution, you centrifuge it. Now I've given one example that if you want to separate plasma and blood cells from human blood, okay, this is carried out in each and every pathological laboratory. So you can then use the same technique. Now whenever you centrifuge things in the centrifuge tube, you will get two different things. One is there is something which will be settled at the bottom of the tube. and there is something which will be on the upper side. તો જ્યારે પણ સેન્ટ્રીફ્યુજ કરીએ તો શું થશે કે તમને બે ફેઝ મળે. ઓકે, કે કોઈ વસ્તુ નીચે સેટલ ડાઉન થશે અને કોઈ વસ્તુ ઉપર. જે નીચે થાય તે હેવીયર હશે ઓબ્વિયસલી, the one which is higher density will settle down. That is termed as pellet. That is termed as pellet. These are general terms. Pellet and supernatant are the general terms used for after separation or while separating things in a centrifuge. Okay, for example, blood નું centrifugation કરીએ human blood નું, તો pellet માં you will get blood cells, and on the upper side you will get supernatant, there is plasma. So pellet is higher in density, then whatever you get over here, that is supernatant. It is lighter, lesser density. Okay guys, so make sure you know supernatant and pellet because it will be used quite a few times in our syllabus. તમને સુપરનેટન્ટ ને પેલેન્ટ ખબર હોવી જોઈએ કે સિલેબસમાં ફ્રીક્વન્ટલી આપણા ટેક્સ્ટ બુકમાં બી આનો યુઝ આવશે. Then blood also can be separated in this manner, where in pellet you will get blood cells and plasma you will get in the supernatant. Okay, plasma is a predominantly iron containing and water part of the blood. Then they ask question about Swedberg unit. Okay, Swedberg unit is denoted by small s. It is equal to 1 upon second or second inverse. Now, when in any of the centrifugation techniques, Swedberg denotes sedimentation coefficient. Swedberg unit denotes sedimentation coefficient. This question was asked in 2017 NEET. Okay, so Swedberg is from the name of the scientist who had given this unit. I mean, who had basically invented this thing. Like, if you will study in the chapter of cell, that if you want, when you refer to ribosomes, which are kind of cell organelles, they are referred as 7ts and 8ts type. So here the S refers to Swedberg unit and it denotes sedimentation coefficient. So mainly આ શું exemplify કરે છે કે when you centrifuge those things, જ્યારે તમે centrifugation કરશો ત્યારે જે sedimentation નો rate છે, ઓકે, મતલબ કે કેટલી વાર લાગશે sediment થતા, એ બતાડે છે Swedberg unit. So it shows the time taken for different compounds to get sedimented. It shows the time taken for different compounds to get sedimented. Okay, so in our syllabus we will be usually using it while referring to ribosomes. That's why I have given this example. So Swedberg is very much important, guys. Okay, you can use different solutions for a while for centrifugation. તો ઘણા બધા solutions આવે છે. આપણા syllabusમાં we will be using only one. I mean, there will be only one which is referred, that is CSCl density gradient solution. Okay, now this CSCl density gradient solution, it refers to this CSCl density gradient solution refers to mainly cesium chloride. It refers to cesium chloride. Okay, and it is used to separate DNA. If you want to separate DNA in centrifugation, DNA is found in nucleus. It stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. We will discuss DNA in detail in the chapter of biomolecules, which I'll be starting today after completing this revision. So this is a solution is used to separate DNA. You can also use centrifugation to separate cell organelles and different compounds. You can also use it to separate cell organelles and different compounds. Okay, so this is all we have in centrifugation. Now, if any of you has any problems in centrifugation, you can ask me, especially those who were not there yesterday. તો આમાં તમને કોઈ સેન્ટ્રીફ્યુગેશનમાં કોઈને કોઈ પ્રોબ્લેમ હોય તો પ્લીઝ યુ કેન આસ્ક ગાઈસ.
No, sir.
Okay. So then we have electrophoresis. Okay. So electrophoresis is also a separation technique. Is also a separation technique. It is of electrophoresis can be of two types. It can be agarose gel electrophoresis or it can be SDS page electrophoresis. Okay. We will study agarose gel electrophoresis in detail in 12th. We'll study it in detail in 12th. It is used for DNA separation. It is used for DNA separation. Okay. I'm not going in detail and how because it will be a separate lecture and it is not required as per your syllabus. But 12th માં already આવશે તો 12th more detail માં discuss કરીશ. But you should know as of now કે DNA ને separate કરવા માટે agarose gel electrophoresis is used. To separate protein, SDS page electrophoresis is used. Okay, SDS page stands for sodium dodecyl sulfate polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. There is no need to remember full form. That's why I have not mentioned it. But once they've asked this question that SDS page can be used for separating dash, answer was protein. It was asked in AIMS 2019. એટલા માટે મેં અહીંયા મૂક્યું છે. This works on the principle of electrophoretic mobility. This works on the principle of electrophoretic mobility. Now, what is electrophoretic mobility? For that you have to wait for a while. I'll teach proteins in biomolecules, okay, which will start today. Then I'll explain what it is. So as of now, you should know it is a separation technique. It can be of two types as per our syllabus to separate DNA, and it can be also for to separate proteins. Okay, બીજું આમાં વધારે required નથી, so that's why મેં વધારે કંઈ આમાં નથી કીધું તમને. I'll show you how agarose gel electrophoresis looks like. I hope you can see the agarose gel electrophoresis image. You give the power supply, there's agarose gel in there. It is used to separate DNA. It is used to separate DNA. Okay, I hope you can see it. Okay, so this is what is agarose gel electrophoresis. Then we have another technique that is chromatography. Now, chromatography is also a separation and purification technique. It is also a separation and purification technique. It can be of various types. Chromatography na kind of types હોય છે, gas chromatography, liquid chromatography. But in your syllabus, you only have to know about one of the technique, that is copper chromatography. આપણા સિલેબસમાં ખાલી આ એક જ 13 ચેપ્ટરમાં ઇન ધી ફોટોસિન્થેસિસ ચેપ્ટર this will be used. Okay, so in this, basically there are different, it is used to separate different types of chlorophyll pigments. So if you know, in the plants, the green leaves, okay, the leaves of the plants, they contain chlorophyll. So chlorophyll pigments છે અને બીજા અમુક pigments જેમ કે chlorophyll A, B, xanthophyll, carotene. These are all chlorophyll. A and B are chlorophyll pigments. Xanthophyll, carotene are similar sort of pigments. Okay, so this is used to basically separate different types of chlorophyll compounds in the from the leaves. Okay, how it is done? I'll show you the image. Okay, so as you can see, these are green leaves. It contains chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is needed for photosynthesis. So you can use this technique to separate different pigments, chlorophyll pigments found inside the leaves. So you have to take a beaker or this kind of vessel where you have to add the acetone. આ જે દેખાય છે એસિટોન છે. એસિટોનમાં આ લીફ જે છે એડ કરી દેવાનું. ઓકે, એટલે અને પછી એને ક્રશ કરી નાખવાનું. You have to crush after adding the leaves. Okay, then you have to put this paper. As you can see, you have to put this paper. It is termed as a filter paper or also termed as a chromatographic paper. એક સ્પેશિયલ પેપર આવે કે જેમાં યુઝ થઈ શકે. ફિલ્ટર પેપર લેબોરેટરીમાં એના જેવું હશે. ઓકે, so you have to put this paper, but you have to be careful કે એની જે સરફેસ છે, આ જે પેપરની આ જે સરફેસ છે, this pointed surface, એ જ ખાલી આ એસિટોન ને લીવ્સ ના મિક્સચર ને ટચ થવી જોઈએ. The paper should only touch the surface of acetone and leaf, crushed leaf mixture. Okay, as you can see over here. So after few hours, if you keep it in this condition, તમે આ જ કન્ડિશનમાં અમુક કલાકો માટે રાખશો, so what will happen? You will see different pigments on this paper, different spots. આવી રીતના you will see different spots on the paper. Okay, you can see different spots. Like there is light green is chlorophyll B, bluish green is chlorophyll A, and then yellowish is xanthophyll, carotene is orange. Carrots have a lot of carotene, okay, that's why they look orange. So these are different pigments along with chlorophyll. So you can separate these pigments by using paper chromatography. So you can get to know કે પ્લાન્ટના લીફમાં કયા pigments. So it is separation and purification technique. હવે તો ઘણી એડવાન્સ ફોર્મ્સ પણ આવ્યા છે. It is basically comes in chemistry as such. But this sentence will come in your syllabus that paper chromatography is used to separate different chlorophyll compounds. તો આની અંદર આટલું છે. So તમને કોઈ ટેકનિક થિયરેટિકલ નહીં પૂછે, but just you should know, I mean, how it is used, that's why I explain it. તો આમાં કોઈને કંઈ ડાઉટ હોય તો બોલો. If you have any problems, please ask it. Okay, any problems in paper chromatography, guys? Those who were not there yesterday, especially.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, it was just to explain. You should know only with what I have mentioned in notes that it is a separation and purification technique. It is used to separate different chlorophyll pigments. Now see, next is X-ray
થાય
diffraction.
હવે બરદાસ્તી થાય તમે ખાલી પ્રોપર જવાબ દો ને તું સાઈડ માં આય પેલા મમ્મી આમ વાત ન કરાવે બધી
Now see, next is X-ray diffraction. So this technique is based on diffraction. Now, what is diffraction? Diffraction is basically you study it in physics, but I'll just explain you in brief. Okay, that if you keep something, okay, something in between, and you focus X-rays on it. Okay, તમે કોઈ મટીરિયલ રાખશો એની પર એક્સરેઝ ને ફોકસ કરશો તો થશે શું? what will happen? This will be an obstacle for these X-rays. So the rays will basically evade this object. So the X-rays will travel from this side. So જ્યાં એને મતલબ જ્યાં rays ના pathમાં it will feel obstruction. Wherever the X-rays will get obstructed, they will not pass from that part, but they will rather pass from the parts from where they can pass, or from where there are no obstacles. So these X-rays will pass from this side as they are not able to pass from it. So you have to capture these X-rays. You have to capture these X-rays. Okay, and these X-rays basically avoiding the obstacle in their path. Okay, and that's why they divert their route, and that's why they divert their route of traveling. So such X-rays are termed as diffracted. એટલે વચ્ચે કોઈ ઓબ્સ્ટેકલ આવશે તો એક્સરેઝ જે હશે તે એની સાઈડમાંથી પાસ થશે. ઓકે, એમાંથી પાસ નહીં થઈ શકે. તો આવી રીતના જે રેઝનું જે પાથ ટ્રાવેલિંગનો પાથ ડાયવર્ટ થશે. ઓકે, so these are termed as diffracted X-rays. These are termed as diffracted X-rays. So this principle is used in this technique of X-ray diffraction. So what you do is basically you capture these X-rays and you get a pattern. You get this pattern on a X-ray plate. તમને આ X-ray ને capture કરશો તો એક pattern મળશે અને pattern જે હશે તે you will get it on a X-ray plate. Okay, so you'll get this pattern on a X-ray plate, and from this pattern experts can determine chemical structure. From this pattern, chemical structure of a compound can be determined. So this technique is used to determine chemical structure of a compound. Now, this technique, by determining chemical structure, you can get to know about the bonds, the atomic arrangement, different kinds of molecules or atoms inside it. Okay, so you can get to know about the bonds and atomic arrangement of it, different elements which are there. So what is done, like in, I mean, આખી technique તમને ડિટેલમાં નહીં પૂછે, but just I'm explaining because you should know how it is to understand it. Like the chemical structure of DNA, it was determined by X-ray diffraction. The chemical structure of DNA was determined by X-ray diffraction. So you focus the X-rays on DNA, then you capture the diffracted X-rays on an X-ray plate, and you get a specific pattern. And from that pattern, Rosalind Franklin, Watson, and Crick had depicted the DNA structure, and they even won Nobel Prize for that. We study this structure in chapter number 9, biomolecules, which I'll start after these techniques. So આના પરથી you can extrapolate પર તમને diffracted rays જ્યારે hit કરશે તો you'll get a pattern અને એના પરથી experts can determine chemical structure. You or me cannot determine, okay, because it needs it needs very high level of expertise to determine it. એક એક્ઝામ્પલ આપણા સિલેબસમાં આવશે કે ડીએનએ નું જે સ્ટ્રક્ચર છે એ પણ આ જ રીતે ફાઉન્ડ આઉટ થયું છે. Okay, I'll just show you how it is. Okay, I hope you can see. So this is X-ray tube. As you can see, X-rays are emitted from it. Now these X-rays are passing from this screen. And over here I had put the DNA, whose structure is to be determined. એનું સ્ટ્રક્ચર આપણે ડિસાઇડ કરવું છે એના પરથી આ X-rays જે છે એ પાસ થશે. So now this is the obstacle in between. These are X-rays traveling in straight path. Now a DNA જે છે it will be એમાં બધી જગ્યા પર the X-rays will not be able to pass through. So you get these X-rays. These are diffracted X-rays. See my cursor. These are diffracted X-rays. Now you capture these X-rays on this X-ray film or X-ray plate. You capture these diffracted X-rays on this and you get this sort of pattern. जो pattern मળી દેખાતી હશે અહીંયા. Okay, જે white dots દેખાય છે. And from that you can determine the chemical structure of different compounds. From that you can determine chemical structure of different compounds. તો હવે આમાં કોઈ પ્રોબ્લેમ હોય તો બોલો. If you any questions in X-ray diffraction, please ask.
No, sir.
Okay, તમને આખી ટેકનિક નહીં પૂછે, but just you should know DNA structure is determined by X-ray diffraction. That can be asked. Now see, next is sterilization. Okay, now it is it's a very obvious word nowadays where you use hand sanitizer and all. So it is a process to clean or to make any surface free from the microbes. Like when we apply ethanol or when we apply hand sanitizer, we are basically making our hands free of bacteria and any other viruses if they are. So આ શું છે, આ process છે જેનાથી તમે to sterilize means to clean or to clear the surface from the microbes. So what can be used? Ethanol can be used, isopropyl alcohol can be used, okay, to sterilize the surface, or even UV rays can be used. But you cannot use UV rays on your skin because then you can get cancer. So you can use UV rays on other surfaces. For example, in laboratory, if you are conducting experiments on a platform, then platform can be wiped first with ethanol, and then also you can use the UV rays to sterilize that platform. So this is what we have sterilization માટલું જ છે. It is only, just you should know, it's also a technique. So So if you have any problems in this, you can ask. Okay. So if you have any problems in sterilization, you can ask, else we can move forward. Okay. Then next is filtration. It's very easy. Okay. Filtration is to filter compounds. So for example, when we drink tea, when we prepare tea, the liquid which we are going, the tea which we are going to drink will pass from the filter, while the tea leaves will be retained on the filter. Okay. So the things which is retained on the filter, which cannot pass from the filter pores, is termed as retentate. It is retained on filter. The things which will pass from the filter is termed as filtrate. Okay, because it can easily pass from these pores. Okay, જે વસ્તુ ફિલ્ટર ની ઉપર રહી જશે એને રિટેન્ટેડ કહેવાય કે રિટેઇન થશે ફિલ્ટર પર. જે પાસ થશે એને ફિલ્ટ્રેટ કહેવાય. Like when we drink tea, so the tea which we are going to drink is a filtrate, and the tea leaves which remains on the filter is retentate. Okay, this is what we have in filtration. If you have any problems in filtration, you can ask. It's very easy. It's very obvious. Okay, you might be using some or other forms of filter at your homes. Okay, so if you have any problems in filtration, you can ask. Then the last one which we have is radio tracer technique. These words will be used quite 2 or 3 times in our syllabus. So what it is a technique which can be used to know about circulatory pathways or to provide information about circulatory pathways. So how it is done? You have to take a radioactive compound. You join it with a organic compound like proteins or carbohydrates, okay, or nucleic acid. You can inject them in the organism. You can inject this combined molecule in organism, and you will get the radioactivity wherever this compound will circulate. જ્યાં જ્યાં organic compound જશે ત્યાં તમને radioactivity મળશે. શું કામ? કેમ કે radioactive compound એની સાથે join કરેલો છે. So radioactive compounds can be starting from plutonium, lead, base, uranium. Okay, all those type of those are radioactive compounds, as you might be knowing. Okay, it comes in 10th also, and this can be used like in it can be used for human blood circulation or to know about the circulatory pathways of the blood. Okay, it is also used in medical field while treating several gastrointestinal problems. Okay, digestive tract ના કોઈ problems ને treatment માં બી આ use થાય છે. મતલબ એમાં diagnosis માટે બી use થાય છે. Okay, it is also used in plants to study water movement in xylem. Xylem is a plant vessel carrying water. Plants માં water movement study કરવા માટે બી આ technique નો use થશે. આપણા syllabus માં plants માટે આનો use mention કર્યો છે. So you can know કે જ્યાં જ્યાં radioactivity મળશે ત્યાંથી તમને ખબર પડશે કે આ compound ક્યાં ગયો છે. And you can determine circulatory pathway. So this is all we have in techniques. Okay. So separation techniques were chromatography, centrifugation, electrophoresis, filtration. Techniques to study and observe are microscopy and staining. Techniques to determine chemical structure were X-ray diffraction. Okay, I'll just keep it for a minute. You can go through it. Okay. Then we have sterilization for to sterilize the surface, radio tracer to study circulatory pathways. This is simple staining again. Once again, you take a slide, put the microbial culture, કે જેમાં ઘણા બધા bacteria કે હશે, or you can put the cell or section. You add the stain add करो, dry થવા દો. You can observe it under a microscope. Okay. You can also do this sort of staining in simple lactobacillus culture, that is curd. તમારા ઘરમાં જે કર્ડ હશે, કર્ડ કે દહીં, એ દહીંનો ડ્રોપ મૂકીને એમાં બી તમે સ્ટેઇન કરીને લેક્ટોબેસિલસ બેક્ટેરિયા જોઈ શકો. Okay, because lactobacillus will mainly transform milk into curd. These are the stained bacteria, as you can see. Stain slide as any image લેશો તો આવું દેખાશે. These are both bacteria. Stained by gram stain. This is gram positive blue one. This is gram negative pink one. Okay, that's just તમને idea એટલા માટે images રાખી છે. These are simple light microscope. સ્કૂલમાં આવો હોય, collegesમાં you have this kind usually. You have to put your eyes over here. You can put the slide over here. Here slide મૂકવાની, you have to see from here. You can control light from here. The light source is over here. This is Tapper chromatography, which we talked about. See, this is electron microscope attached to the computer screens. Okay. It's very expensive. Okay. You focus electrons on a sample and then you get the image on the screen. Electromagnetic lens will form the electrons beams, as you can see over here. This is centrifuge, as we have discussed. These are centrifuge tubes. This is agarose gel electrophoresis to separate DNA. Okay. So this is all we have in techniques. This is all we have in techniques. Okay. So any problems in this, guys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, let me have some water and we'll start after 2 minutes again. You can also have a 2-minute break and then we can start. Okay, so we will start with the chapter number 9, that is biomolecules. Without biomolecules, you cannot study biology. Without biomolecules, you cannot study biology. Just a moment. Let me share it. Before we start, I just like to know your schools, guys. Okay, I didn't get to know that. So, Yemi, from what school you had passed out your 10th, beta? Clearly audible.
Hello. Sir,
Yes, beta.
Sardar Patel.
Okay, okay. Khushi, from which school you have passed out?
Sardar Patel. I was in
Okay.
English school from Vadodara.
Which school you were?
Ambe school in Vadodara.
Okay, Ambe, I know. Okay, I know. Okay. Then Krisha.
Sardar Patel.
Okay. Soumya,
Sardar Patel.
Niti.
Sardar Patel, sir.
Okay. Vaishnavi.
Sardar Patel.
Okay. So you all are from Sardar Patel. Okay. SPES. Okay. I'd been there. Okay. Last month only. Okay. So now we'll start with the one of the most important chapters, that is biomolecules. Okay. So we will begin with chapter number 9 from your textbook. કેમ કે બાયોલોજી જે છે આ ચેપ્ટર વગર સ્ટાર્ટ ના થઈ શકે એટલા માટે ભલે ટેક્સ્ટબુકમાં 9th ચેપ્ટર છે, but we will start with the biomolecules. કેમિસ્ટ્રીમાં લાસ્ટ ચેપ્ટર આવે અને બાયોલોજીમાં when I was in Akash, okay, we used to tell કે જ્યાં કેમિસ્ટ્રી પૂરું થાય ત્યાં બાયોલોજી સ્ટાર્ટ થાય. So 12th માં in your 12th standard biomolecules is last chapter, and in 11th biology begins with biomolecules. Okay, now from this chapter in NEET there will be approximately 3 to 4 questions. Okay, so it's one of the most important chapters for NEET. Now how you have to prepare every chapter. તમારે દરેક ચેપ્ટર કઈ રીતે પ્રિપેર કરવાનું છે, so that is what I am advising. Okay, so you have to focus on lecture notes because I will cover all the questions in that. Then you have to read textbook. Okay, then you have to do previously asked questions of NEET, and you have to solve NCERT exemplar. Okay, I will send you the PDF exemplar. દરેક સબ્જેક્ટમાં આન્સર ઇન exemplar આવે છે, if you know. Okay, and in exemplar per chapter they have given, in our biology they have given 15 to 20 questions, MCQs, but they are wonderful MCQs. They are great MCQs. So હું તમને I'll teach you each chapter, then we will solve some of the questions, and then we will also some of the questions from exemplar. So દરેક chapter પછી હું તમને I will solve 30-40 MCQs in lecture, which is important. So when you prepare any of the chapter in biology, you should follow this pattern. Okay, and you should do these 4 things for each chapter. हर एक चैप्टर માટે તમારે આ 4 વસ્તુ કરવાની રહેશે. Lecture notes, textbook, previously asked questions, and NCERT exemplar. If you want to score good marks, okay, then you should follow this practice till the end of your 12th. Okay, હું પણ ક્વેશ્ચન્સ કરાવીશ દરેક ચેપ્ટર પૂરું થશે ત્યારે. So એ બધા important questions હશે. So in your 11th, your focus should be on NEET. Okay, and we are starting with the biomolecules. Okay, any questions, any problems in this, the instructions which I had given?
No.
Okay. Now, before we start further, just a moment. Before we go on further, can you tell me the difference between elements and compounds? Can you tell me the difference?
Short substances which is made up of one type of atom is known as elements, and short substances which are made up by one or more atoms is known as compounds.
Okay, so basically if I'll take only hydrogen or oxygen, it is termed as elements. Or let's say I take chloride. If I'll combine 2 hydrogen and oxygen, this is basically a compound. Is it so?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you should know this basic difference. Okay, now, so basically compounds are combination, or it is formed by combination of elements, or it is formed by bonding of elements. Okay, so then there are various bonds and all which will be basically forming the compounds. Anyways, so you should know this basic difference. Now, moving further, if you take any of the living tissue, tissue means a group of cells. If you take any of the living tissue, be it plant cell, be it from the animal tissue, or be it from the microbial. Microbial means fungus or bacteria. Okay, you can consider both of them under microbes. Okay, then what you will get, that it will have specific elements and compounds. Mainly it will contain compounds which has or elements which are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So તમે કોઈ પણ living tissue લેશો તો એની અંદર you will have different elements and compounds which are containing mainly carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Also you can add nitrogen. Okay. For example, in our cells 70% is water, H2O. So it is a compound containing hydrogen and oxygen. So living tissues, so the conclusion is living tissues will always contain certain elements and compounds, especially they will contain compounds having carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Okay. Any doubts in this much, guys?
No.
Okay. Now, moving further, they've given a comparison. Okay. Your textbook has given a comparison that if you take any living cell or tissue, and if you compare it with Earth's crust, that means soil. Okay, soil are compare કરશો શું difference મળશે? This has carbon, hydrogen elements are more in amount. Okay, here C and H are less in amount. So earthના crust કરતા અહીંયા it is more in amount in any living tissue. Okay, but minerals are less in amount. Here minerals are more in amount. You can also say that it has more organic compounds. It has more organic compounds. It has more inorganic compounds. So these minerals are basically inorganic compounds. Okay, these carbon, hydrogen, base are mainly organic compounds. So if you compare living cell and Earth's crust, carbon, hydrogen or other organic compounds are more. Okay, in living cell, while inorganic or minerals are more in Earth's crust. Any problems in this, guys?
No.
Then it takes to our next question, that is, what are organic compounds? So organic compounds are mainly what we all the compounds which contain CHO containing compounds, especially carbon must be present, carbon containing compounds. Okay, for example, we will talk about polysaccharides or monosaccharides. They are all carbon containing organic compounds. Then second is, what are inorganic compounds? What are inorganic compounds? So they have devoid of carbon or devoid of CHO. For example, if I take minerals like sodium, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, silicon, okay, magnesium, etc. These are all inorganic. So which one will be more in amount? In living tissue, organic will be more in amount. Okay, in the soil or in the earth's crust, inorganic are these are more in amount. Okay, so any problems in this?
No, sir.
Okay, so now this chapter is basically a part of branch of biology which we call as biochemistry. Okay, keep that in mind. And the name of the chapter is, as I have already mentioned, biomolecules. Now to define this name, whatever I had taught you, organic is required. So how I will define biomolecules? Okay, so biomolecules can be defined as all the carbon-based compounds found inside living organism. So these are nothing but all the carbon-based compounds which are present inside living tissues, okay, or cells. They're present inside living tissues or cells. They are called as biomolecules. They are termed as biomolecules. Okay. So some of the examples are protein, lipids, nucleic acids, and polysaccharides or carbohydrates. And carbohydrates. Clear, guys? This much?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now just a moment. I have to connect my charger. So just wait for a couple of minutes. Okay. Let me take it and connect it. Shows low battery in laptops. I have to connect. Okay. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can we move further?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So if we analyze, now we are talking about chemical analysis of different compounds of different compounds. Okay, so first we'll talk about chemical analysis of organic compounds. So basically these biomolecules which I have talked about, they are organic compounds. They are organic compounds. Okay, so we're talking about analysis of organic compounds. So we'll do a small experiment. We'll carry out a small experiment. Try to understand it. So you take any of the living tissue. Okay, you take any of the living tissue. That means you can take any of the, you can also take plant leaves. You can also take meat piece. You can take fungus also. Okay, you can take, or you can take bacteria also. So you are supposed to take any of the living tissue. You are supposed to take any of the living tissue. Okay, like plant leaves, meat piece, anything, meat loaf, you can take anything. Now you have to add a acid, that is trichloroacetic acid, to living tissue. એક living tissue લેવાનો, plant, animal ગમે તેનો લઈ શકો, એમાં trichloroacetic acid એડ કરવાનો. Now you have to crush it or blend it with either a blender, or you can also use mortar and pestle. Okay, that means તમારે જે લિવિંગ ટિશ્યુ પર તમે એસિડ એડ કર્યો પછી તમારે એને ક્રશ કરી નાખવાનું બ્લેન્ડરથી. બ્લેન્ડર ઘરમાં હશે, ઓકે, બ્લેન્ડ કરી નાખવાનું. અથવા you can also do it by mortar and pestle, but mortar and pestle માં it will be tedious. So what will happen? Any idea what will happen now? Can you assume? What will happen? Anyone? You will get a thick slurry or paste is obtained. A thick slurry or paste is obtained. Okay, obvious, it's very obvious when you blend it. Now next is you have to filter the slurry. We already discussed about filtration, so you know what is filtration. Now to filter you can use either cheesecloth, okay, you can use cotton, you can also use filter paper. cheesecloth ખ્યાલ હશે જે filtration માટે use થયું એક special cloth આવે. So what you will get? Let us assume this is a filter. Okay, this is a filter. Now, when you separate out two things, you could get certain things which will remain on the filter. So it is what we call as retentate fraction, and certain things which will pass from the filter. Okay, which will pass from the filter. So we call it as this thing is termed as filtrate, as I have discussed in filtration. Okay, so this will, over here you see this is retained on filter. Over here so you see it passes from filter. Okay, any doubts in this, guys, in this much?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so now kindly pay your attention. So you get two things, that is filtrate and retentate. So this filtrate is termed as acid soluble. It is termed as acid soluble, while this retentate is termed as acid insoluble. એટલે જે પાસ થશે એને આપણે શું કહીએ છીએ? તો we call it as a acid soluble. ઓકે, જે પાસ નહીં થાય એને આપણે શું કહીએ છીએ? Acid insoluble. Keep that in mind. Okay,
Yes.
so what you will get in both of these fractions? So what it shows mainly, that if you take a cell, okay, and whatever organic compounds or biomolecules which you get, let's say, or whatever organic compounds you are getting after separating through this process, you can classify them in two different types of compounds. That is, one is what we call as acid soluble, other is what we call as acid insoluble. Clear this much? Okay, now this soluble will have mainly, it will contain inorganic compounds. It will contain inorganic compounds. Okay, whereas insoluble will contain what? It will contain organic compounds. It will contain organic compounds. Okay, so organic are found in acid insoluble. So this was where it was in retentate, this was in filtrate. So now what are major organic compounds? What are major organic compounds? So that are mainly protein, lipid, nucleic acid, and carbohydrates or polysaccharides. Okay, or polysaccharides. So you can also put that the compounds in cells are mainly this way. Okay, that's why, just do not, so you guys should not get confused, that's why I just deleted that part. Okay, so these are mainly what compounds are there in the cell. Okay, they are soluble, you can classify them in two types, soluble, insoluble. These are inorganic diseases. Inorganic is mainly sodium, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, etc. Organic are protein, lipid, nucleic acid, carbohydrates. Got it this much?
Yes,
Yes.
In your textbook, I am combining two separate topics. वो भी अलग-अलग topic ने combine करीने I am teaching you. In your textbook, this thing is given on first page, while right now what we have discussed is given after 3 pages. So, but they both are correlated. So I will teach it combinedly. So sometimes you may feel in this chapter that what I am teaching, but you'll get an idea by the end of the chapter because I'm correlating different topics which should come together. Even though your textbook had given it separately, but whenever they ask questions, they combine it and they ask questions. Okay. So if you conclude, then as such, all the biomolecules, proteins, lipids, carbohydrate or polysaccharides, as well as nucleic acid, these are found in cell. Apna cell ma major biomolecules are this four. And this chapter is all about this four. We will study each of them in detail. These all are what we call as acid insoluble. These all are acid insoluble. So they are found in which fraction? Retented. So you take a cell. In the cell, these are all different major organic compounds, and they are insoluble and they are found in retented. That is the conclusion. Okay, so this is all for today. I'm not going to take further because there's a separate topic in relation to it. So any problems in this, guys? Now, if you have any problems in whatever I have covered today, you're free to ask. આજે જે કંઈ કરાવ્યું એમાં કંઈ જ પ્રોબ્લેમ હોય તો you are free to ask. અને PDF I'll share the PDF in the group. Okay, because I'm not added in Google Classroom, so I'm not able to share it. Otherwise, I'll surely will share it. So any problems in that, guys? Now,
No.
okay. So we have discussed about elements, compounds, organic compounds, biomolecules definition, and we have taken a small experiment of analysis of compounds. We also have one experiment for analysis of inorganic compounds, which we'll take tomorrow.
Sir, do we need to write the experiment in lecture notebook?
Sorry?
To write the experiment in our notebook.
This is in your textbook, beta. So it's a part of your content, textbook content only. Okay? To write or not to write, that depends on you. Okay? Actually, I'll send you my lecture notes, but right now I don't have it with me because I am at my hometown. So next month I'll be going to Gandhinagar. Then I will send you because I stay in Gandhinagar. But now, right now, I'm in Porbandar at my hometown. Okay. So, but even these lecture notes are enough. You can make your notes from lecture notes. Okay. Further, if you need my notes, also I'll send you the scanned copies. But unfortunately, right now I don't have it because I'm not in my hometown. So I'll send it. So you can make your notes from lecture notes. You can write down that because that will help you out. Okay, but nobody will check you. It's for you only. But this experiment is not out of textbook, it's a part of textbook syllabus. Okay, it's here in textbook only.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So I discuss right now the first 2 pages, first 1.5 page of your textbook. Okay, but I don't teach line to line usually. So you just I'll just show you. Okay, after completing, I'll show you what we have done and what is left. Okay, so this is all for today. We'll meet tomorrow and continue further. If you have any doubts, go through it in techniques or in anything whatever I have covered, and please feel free to ask me tomorrow. Okay, thank you guys. ટોપિક જે છે રિપીટ કરવો છે કે પછી આગળ જવું કે ગુજરાતી મીડિયમમાં તો વી આર ગોઈંગ ટુ રિપીટ કેમ કે કાલે અડધા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ જોઈન થયા હતા તમારા કેસમાં આઈ થિંક બધા જ હતા તો વોટ શેલ વી ડુ